Hello, my friends. My name is Jack Descartes, and this is Sentinel Circle. Thank you for being here today. I got an article that we're going to go straight into. It's by The Telegraph. I found it on Yahoo News. Let's go ahead and switch over to it now. Adult content and gaming blamed for surge in jobless young men, by Su Ping Chan. This is an older article, dated 2024, but I chose this one for a reason. This is the antithesis of blaming the symptoms rather than the problem. In this case, the symptoms are young men consuming a lot of adult content, gaming, buying trinkets, doing nothing with their lives. There's a lot of theories as to why that is. I have my own theories, but we're going to talk about this and hopefully learn something. We'll probably rage at it too, because I already know this article's wrong. In my experience, this article is wrong. And I know for a lot of you guys, the men in my group here watching this video, that's not the case for you. You may be consuming a lot of this stuff. I myself like video games, although I haven't played in quite a while. This is just inherently wrong. There's more to it than just, we're addicted to video games and adult content. And because of that, we're locked inside our houses all day. And we don't want to work. And we don't want to participate in society. All right. So, Mel Stride has blamed adult content and video games for a surge in worklessness among young men. The Work and Pension Secretary said easy access to online adult content and video games were fueling a mental health crisis among young men, which is prompting many to drop out of the workforce. Sorry, I had my earphones in from a previous video and just realized it. It came as official figures showed there were 900,000 young people aged between 16 and 24 who were not in education, employment, or training, also known as NEETs, in January to March of 2024. This was up from 812,000 a year earlier, the Office for National Statistics said. Now, this is based in the UK, obviously, from The Telegraph, but I feel this can apply to all countries, not just us. In fact, several years ago, I remember, I think it was an article that was talking about Chinese youth. Apparently they're, I'm not a military service member, so forgive me if I'm wrong. But when you enlist, you have to go through physical testing to make sure you can actually do the job, which that's fair. You want to make sure you're in good health doing a hard job like that. Because of that reason, it's been deemed that I'm trying to remember this article by memory. It'd probably take me way too long to find, but it was like 15% of American military fighting age men are capable of service. Obviously, we don't have 15% of fighting age men in the service, but that's basically what it boils down to. So you have 85% of men who cannot participate for some reason. Anyways, so the Chinese, they have a similar problem, which is a lot of their boys cannot join the military for medical reasons. And apparently the two most commonly cited reasons were they were overweight and they had an enlarged prostate. And basically the Chinese general that they were interviewing was saying that it's obvious that these boys are enjoying adult entertainment because they are pleasuring themselves quite a bit. and they are lazy because they're constantly online. In fact, China has deemed that internet addiction is a mental health issue, and they have camps dedicated to fixing that. I don't want to even touch that topic. I have my opinions on it. And I don't want to tell anybody what they can and can't do. So, anyways, let us continue. Mr. Stride said social media and technology has led to a very worrying increase in mental health conditions among young people, which was fueling economic inactivity. The minister said technology was having a different impact on boys' and girls' mental health. Women's mental health has been suffering because of unrealistic ideas portrayed on social media platforms such as TikTok and Instagrams. And we all know about the filters. South Park did that episode about Photoshop, and that was back when Photoshop was a thing. Now it's so automatic it hurts. And we haven't even touched on plastic surgery and the current craze of Ozempic and all that stuff. And just for record, I know I'm obese and I will never take Ozempic because it's only a Band-Aid. I believe that if you take medicine but you still consume all the crud that's out there, then what's the point? I feel that, you know, you can sit there and take all these pills and cut yourself up surgically and all that stuff, and it's only masking an inherently deep problem, which is eating right, exercising, all that stuff. You know, and then I find it funny how, you know, pro-fat people all of a sudden are starting to take Ozempic, but that's my spiel on that. Okay, anyways, for boys, things like gaming and certainly adult entertainment and things like that is a more prevalent factor, Mr. Stride told the Workers and Pensions Select Committee. A 2023 study published in the U.S. Journal of Nervous and Mental Disease found that stressful experiences, anxiety, and depression are strongly related to adult entertainment consumption. Okay. I will disagree there. But let's continue, and we'll talk about that in a bit. Links with gaming are less clear, with an 2022 Oxford study finding that video games only harmed mental health if people struggled to stop. Again, I'm going to hold back on that. Mr. Stride said 16 to 24-year-olds have seen a very marked increase in mental health conditions, which is very worrying, not least because they are young people with futures ahead of them. Okay. While he said lockdowns were a clear factor, he suggested social media and technology played an even bigger role. I really wish people would stop blaming the pandemic for what was already there. The pandemic didn't cause it. The pandemic only gave permission. And that's a very important distinction regarding that. So let us continue. I apologize. I am enjoying my morning coffee. Sue me. Mr. Stride has said, I do think probably as a society we haven't explored and fully opened up exactly what this technology means for young people's mental health, because I think the impacts are actually very profound and probably an area where there needs to be more research. The new ONS figures showed that young men were behind the continuous rise of worklessness. There were 99,000 extra 16 to 24-year-old men out of work by the end of March, whereas the number of women of the same age class as NEETs fell by 1,100. I wonder why. Around 1 in 7 young men are now considered NEETs, according to the ONS, compared to 1 in 10 young women. Britain is grappling with one of the worst sickness crises on record, with more than 2.8 million people of working age not in the workforce due to ill health, including mental health conditions such as anxiety and depression. This is up from around 2 million before COVID. There are 9.4 million people of working age overall who are neither in work nor looking for a job in the UK, representing a decade high. Mr. Stride has unveiled a series of reforms to tackle Britain's worklessness crisis, including an overhaul of Britain's benefit system, warning that the approach to mental health and welfare is in danger of having gone too far. Okay. So let's go ahead, come back to me because I am the star. Thank you. So, let's go into final thoughts. This was a relatively quick video. What did we learn? They're blaming distractions. That's really what it boils down to, is they're blaming distractions. Today's adult entertainment and video games are yesterday's narcotics and alcohol. It's literally the difference between time, basically, technology. COVID, in my view, gave people permission. Gave people permission to drop off the face of the earth, to become recluses. And I think that's kind of where everyone's natural tendency is they don't want to put forth effort. That's really what it boils down to, is effort. Going to a club takes effort. Going to a bar takes effort. Going out somewhere takes effort. It's easy to just sit at home, be relaxed, enjoy oneself. You know, we have entertainment constantly pumped into our homes now. There's no reason for us to go to a movie theater these days. I mean, let's take that as an example. You pay $10 a month for a video streaming service that's constantly, as Red Letter Media so eloquently put, it's a buffet. And all they do all day long is fill that buffet. Just keep it stocked with new and different things. It doesn't even have to be relatively good. It doesn't have to end on a good note. It just has to be enough to hook you in, to binge watch. That's all. $10 a month for that. A little bit more if you don't want to deal with ads. Compare that to a night at the movies where you're paying almost $100 for 2 hours of something that you may not be entertained by. And there's no other option. There's no way to pause the film to go use the restroom. There's no way to deal with the annoying people who are talking, who are texting on their phone. I mean, how many TikTok videos have we seen with the Minecraft movie where, you know, they show the chicken jockey and all of a sudden everyone freaks out? Why would I pay money, good money that I work my rear end off, to go and endure that? Why would I waste my time, my energy, my hard-earned money to have people scream and throw things at the movie theater? And it's not worth it to me. I haven't been to a movie theater in over 10 years at this point. You know, and one of my customers is a national movie theater chain. Every time I go in, it's a ghost town in there. You know, they essentially have a bar now. They have a restaurant inside. They're trying their darn hardest to bring people in. But I know for a fact I'm not alone in the movie theater experience. Maybe I should do a film on the movie theater experience. But The point is why would I endure all of that when I could sit at home, be comfortable, be able to pause the film whenever I want to go use the restroom? That's what adult entertainment is. Why would I spend the money, spend the headache, all that stuff for what? You know, I have to change my entire life for a girlfriend, for a wife. People sit there and say, well, enjoy your peace. Well, I understand. There are people that they want a relationship, they want children, they want all that stuff. But for the vast majority of these people, they realize either A, it's not happening for them, or B, they don't want it. And the same thing with gaming. Gaming it's fun, it's quick. I personally don't play games like Call of Duty. I play more mind games like Factorio. I love Factorio. The one that I've been playing recently when I do have time is Schedule 1, which Schedule 1 in itself has proven that you don't need $1 million budgets and thousands of people working on your game to have a successful game. You could have just one man with a dream. That, what's his name? Tyler, Travis, something like that? The guy who made Schedule 1 proved, same thing with Notch, same thing with, who's a Concerned Ape, I think is his name. The guy who made Stardew Valley. They're all of them. Every single one of them has proven that all it takes is one guy and dedication to make something magical. Sorry, my allergies are affecting me. They're cutting outside. The point being, back to my final thoughts here. These are all symptoms of a larger problem. The larger problem is people are dropping out of society. And rather than asking, well, what's wrong with these boys who are not participating, everybody should ask themselves, well, what is so bad about society that these boys want to drop out? And I can think of a million different reasons. I know that there are certain channels out there that say, you know, your goal should be to drop your expenses and go find a house in the middle of God knows where, start a business on your own. That's all fine and good. But even then, that's not addressing the problem. The problem that at least I see as an outside observer is that there's no reason for it. There's no purpose behind it. People need purpose. People need a reason to get up out of bed every single morning. And just getting out of bed to go work to earn a paycheck to come back is not worth it. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the majority of these men were on some form of disability. And I mean, I know I would be bored out of my mind if I was collecting the disability check. But I have relatives who all they talk about all day long is how to get more money from the government, how to do it. They sit there and, you know, they see specific doctors to get diagnosis for PTSD, to get diagnosis for anxiety, depression. And then they go take that diagnosis and they go to Social Security and get disability payments. And that's how they live their lives. They work hard so they don't have to work. It boggles me, but at the same time, if that's an open pathway, then why work a job that you absolutely can't stand for the 40, 50 years of your life just to do what? Enjoy a retirement where you're constantly falling asleep and you have health problems and you can't enjoy your retirement, then you're forced to go live in some home where they tie you up to a bed because they don't want you getting up at night to go use the restroom. Because I've seen that story. In fact, there was a film on Netflix, and I wish more people talked about this film. It's called I Care a Lot. And basically, Rosamund Pike is this court-appointed guardian. And she's a self-court-appointed guardian, and she finds old people. And she puts herself as the guardian of these elderly people, and a lot of them have children. But what happens is she gets herself as court-appointed guardian, and then she starts milking these old people. She first puts them in a home, and then sells the house, sells all the belongings, anything worth money, and then she's collecting money from the retirement home. The retirement home's collecting money from these old people, and that's why, you know, I saw that film and I had a very nasty reaction to it. The reaction I had is, I will never allow myself to be in that position. You know, why would I work hard to put money in my retirement just so someone like Rosamund Pike can steal my money and live large? Maybe I should do a video on the scam of retirement, but that's basically, we all see it. We all see this scam. The problem is no one's willing to do anything about it. Because again, it's too hard. You know, we're so busy trying to feed ourselves and clothe ourselves and put a house around us that we can't fight society's ails. And how many times have we seen, time and time again, that the people who are the most scheming and conniving succeed in life? You know, we're told if you work hard, you'll be successful. Well, the most successful people I've seen are the ones who exploit. They don't work hard. They make others work hard for them. Anyways, I'm at 22 minutes now. My last point that I want to make is, if you're a young individual and you're here listening to me ramble on and on and on about God knows what, I want to say thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time to be here. I appreciate it. And I want you to know that I feel, I sincerely apologize for that. If you're a young person, thank you for being here. I want you to know that I do care about your well-being, your life. I do care. And I know it's one thing to say that you care. It's quite another to actually show that you care. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that I feel that together we can build something great for all men, not just young men, not just for old men, but all men who are looking for a better tomorrow. And we're gonna do a video here in a bit about a concept of nostalgia that I recently discovered, or I may have already done, depending on the post order of these videos. Anyways, I'm gonna stop rambling. Again, thank you so much for being here. Anyways, that's all for us today. My name is Jack Ducard. This is Sentinel Circle. Please, if you enjoy my videos, like and subscribe. I appreciate that. Share my videos if you feel they've helped you or they could help someone else in need. Bring them over. I take all. I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to listen to you, to your friends, to anybody who needs help. If you have a comment, please leave me a comment down below or send me an email if you wish to remain anonymous. Thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it. Have a good day. Bye.